Paris is back on the European stage as a major financial centre. At least that's what the French government is hoping. The EU's decision to move the European Banking Authority here from London has boosted the city's already high hopes that Brexit will bring thousands of banking jobs to the City of Light.
We've of course got lots of competition from the Germans, but I really think the image of France in the eyes of the world has changed in recent months, and that we're being seen as an attractive place to do business again.
President Emmanuel Macron has passed a range of labour market reforms seen as pro-business. He's also cut taxes on high earners, while Paris has opened new bilingual schools and created an international tribunal that can hear cases in English, all in the hope of attracting high-earning finance jobs. Construction is everywhere here in Paris's business district, where the city says it will soon have hundreds of thousands of square metres of new office space aimed at businesses wanting to move. 2,500 jobs are already coming here, and Paris expects that number to quadruple. Big banks like HSBC and Goldman Sachs have already announced they are moving staff, and if the City of London loses its so-called passporting rights to handle Euro trades, as is expected, more will follow. The uncertainty is pushing businesses to take the leap.
One of the biggest risks in business is uncertainty, the inability to plan. A company can tolerate that for a few months, but the discussions have to move forward. Decisions need to be taken by businesses in the relatively short term about whether or not they'll move. So the more time passes, the more businesses will move.
Nobody yet knows how much access to the single market companies based in the UK will have after Brexit, but the longer the negotiations drag on, the more companies are likely to pack their bags for Paris. Elena Casas, TRT World, Paris.
So let's stay in Paris now and go to our editor-at-large, Craig Copetas, who joins us now. Craig, welcome. Is there the appetite in France for something similar to London's Big Bang?
There's the appetite, but I think their eyes might be bigger than their stomach in this respect. You know, Big Bang was a huge deregulation that started actually in 1979 when Margaret Thatcher abolished foreign exchange controls. You have a lot of other problems here, and I'm going to point to two immediately after listening to that report. We heard two French officials. They were speaking in French. They should have been speaking in English because English is the language of commerce. And Macron is saying that there are going to be English language facilities here. There might be, but they're not here right now, and I don't see them arriving anytime soon.
Interesting. Now, if a bank decides it wants to move out of London and has a strict choice between Paris and Frankfurt, say, right now, which city would likely get the business?
Well, I think Frankfurt will, simply because it already has the labor market reforms. Look, London is a tested center, and Macron's pitch really hinges on a hard Brexit that forces the UK to drop out of the customs control union and the passporting and a lot of fancy stuff. But it boils down to three things. As Macron needs English language here in France, he needs flexible working environment, and he needs a common law, British law, Anglo law framework. Those three things don't really exist in the totality that they still do in the UK. And remember, Brexit has some 30 years of systems. I'm sorry, Big Bang created some 30 years of systems, backroom systems that are already in place for commerce and trade to take place.
Very quick question, Craig, but the European Banking Authority says it's moving to Paris. Isn't that going to be a big draw for banks?
Oh, I'm really excited about that, as are. The EBA is a regulatory body. That would be like saying, well, the Securities Exchange Commission is actually headquartered in Washington, D.C., so all the big banks on Wall Street should, like, pick up shop and move to Washington, D.C. because of that. It's not going to happen. That's a phony trigger, I think, that people are selling right now. The fact that the EBA is going to have offices here is meaningless.
Craig Copetas in Paris, thank you so much.